I've literally just got off court from a brutal coaching session with GB's number 3, Louie.Harris, here at Rocket Padel in Beckton. Coming off a poor performance against Nikhil in my last video, where I just wasn't able to implement what I was learning against a vastly superior opponent, Louie today helped me understand the absolute game that I need to master in order to stand a chance against Jake Bewley in the Padel Bungee Jump Challenge match. And at the end, we played the tiebreak to finish. I'm sure you're going to get a hell of a lot out of it. Cut to me talking with Louie. Right, so I am back with GB's number 3, Louie.Harris. Just finished a video with Nikhil. I was really disappointed in the outcome there. Yes, my fitness wasn't great, so I've come back to Louie to see what we can do. Louie has watched the video. I'm just initially going to get some of his feedback on it, and then we'll move forward from there. So yeah, Louie, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a good video. I think it was important for you to try and put some of the work that we've been doing on into practice. I wasn't surprised in terms of, you know, it would be very unlikely that you were able to put all of that information into a point scenario straight away and get it all right. I think if anyone could do that, that would mean that any player that comprehends the idea or understands what they need to do would just instantly put it into practicing games, which is just not the case. A lot of these shots, it takes a lot of repetition. So we were finding the technical aspect of it the other day, but we need to drill that. So when you get into a match, there's zero hesitation. I think that was the biggest takeaway that I saw, was you look very hesitant in any shot you were making, compared to how we were rallying the other day, where you knew exactly where it was coming and where you needed to go. In that point scenario, it was like, do I play this? Do I play that? And that instantly takes 30-40% of quality off your balls.
Yeah, so for you yourself, like, are you at a point where you're going into matches and you just know exactly what you're playing?
To a certain degree, you can't know exactly where you're going on every single ball, but depending on how the shot is played to you, there's some places you can and cannot go. There'll be the odd time where you might go for something a little bit out there, but other than that, you need to keep it more or less simple and be aggressive where you can, and a little bit safer where you have to be, right? So there's a few plays that you'll have in mind. How we were working the other day on like that forehand volley to the middle, that backhand volley cage. You can easily go into a match saying that anything that comes from this angle goes to the cage, anything that comes this angle goes to the glass. And until it becomes a problem where they're reading your shot before you play it, there's no reason why you can't do it.
Sweet. So would you recommend today continue drilling out and then maybe do some point scenario stuff? Or
absolutely, I think we need to continue drilling what we've been working on, and then we'll do that into put that into some points to see if you're able to commit fully.
Sweet.
Yeah,
should we do it?
Let's do it, man. Nice one.
Cheers, man.
Oh, where was that the other day? Where was that? Cool. Should I?
Yeah.
So we'll go into it now. You can't lob. You've got to defend everything. Yeah, I'm going to volley. So just to work on keeping things basic, unless you're confident you can change the pace of the point, so you can change the momentum, I just want you to play firm to my backhand or to my body.
Okay.
Yeah, so 90% of your ball should be going in between the basket and me.
Yep.
The odd one coming to my body. If you feel you're confident enough that the ball will bounce in front of me or potentially to the angle, you play it. If there's any hesitation, you go back to firm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want you to make it really clear to yourself if you're going to play after the wall, before the wall, and where you're going to play.
Okay.
Any hesitation, I want you to play firm through in between the basket and me.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
Here we go. Good. Again. Nice. Good. Let's go. Forward. Yeah. Good. That's not firm. So that's not firm enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs to be a little bit quicker.
Okay.
Again. Good. Exactly. I was just about to say, that's the time you got to do it, right? How does that feel in terms of knowing what you're doing?
Yeah, better.
Yeah, like most of those are pretty decent. What it does mean is you might have to wait quite a while for it to come, but that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, the good thing is with a ball like that, is what I want you to do is make sure that if you miss it on that side.
Yeah.
You know, get used to playing it in with margin rather than going higher or then trying to force something here.
Yeah.
If you're going to miss a little bit wide that way.
Okay.
You know, again, in cross court, not easy to see whether that's going in or not. You get them reaching, things will open up. but avoiding anything here unless you're certain you're going to get it in and it's going to make a difference in the point.
So you're saying those volleys that you're doing low here,
Yeah.
it's like it's almost, can't really go backhand there.
No. So they're firm to the body. In a cross court, I want you to lob that, most likely. But then that scenario we looked at a few sessions ago, what would you need to do from there?
What for? Oh, got to cover this side.
Yeah. So you could play anything to the middle. So whether that's quick or whether that's a chiquita, ideally a chiquita, and then you just got to worry about covering that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you go right back into what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So could you have done something on that ball?
What's that?
Could you have done something with that shot?
The backhand?
Yeah.
I mean, not give so much low margin across in that.
No, I like in terms of could you have made a different decision? I think you could have.
What, cross?
No, there, but soft.
Chiquita.
Yeah, that's a change of rhythm. It doesn't always need to be there.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Not there.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's the one. That's the one. Good. Good. Keep going, keep going. Okay, again. Stop. Good. Exactly.
Oh.
Okay, so what's something else you could do without necessarily changing the pace that much or changing the direction of where you're playing that could make the next shot harder for me? So you're at the back.
Yeah.
At the moment we're playing everything firm through the middle every single time. You come into here.
So,
What's that?
Chiquitas?
Huh?
Chiquitas?
Yeah, but no, without changing it. So still playing the same ball quite firm.
I mean, changing the spin of it?
No, just taking a step forward.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay. To where?
One step. Depending on where you play it, obviously the more angle you play it, the more towards this way you'll come. But just now and then, keep playing it firm. But if you played something firm with it close to the line, just take a little step and then volley the next one.
Okay.
Yeah? Like that one, you should have volleyed.
Got to get that in my head.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That one you should have been a step closer. If there's any time where I've reached that far for a shot, if I'm reaching near the basket, what am I going to be able to do that's good?
Yeah, not much.
Literally nothing, right? So the more time you take away from me after playing this ball, the better.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense.
So start creeping forward if you see that you've either pushed me really wide or that you're just in a good spot.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then make sure that we execute that.
Yeah.
With the goal being taking time away from me, not quality on the ball. The goal being making that ball hit the floor as soon as you can.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay, and then restart. Okay, I don't mind that. So you either do that or you restart the point again.
Okay.
Yeah? So that wasn't really an advantage for you to come in, was it?
Oh.
Yeah?
That's probably not your forehand either.
Yeah. Restart the point. Look at that, nice, nice. So the idea of this is, from the back, what are you playing from the back?
What am I?
What are you playing? Like, what are you thinking about from the back?
Well, now I'm thinking about how do I seek opportunity to stretch you.
But what are you not really thinking about?
I'm not thinking about that.
Yeah. You're just drilling it down the middle, right?
Yeah,
You're just drilling down the middle, drilling down the middle, drilling down the middle, bang, bang, bang. You're not really thinking about going soft either. You know?
No.
But already, so with just you having one shot from the back, which is fast to the middle, you're now starting to see that there's ways to open up this space.
Yeah.
Right? Just there. Now the next thing could be to do that, and now you've got to start adding in that slow one to mix it up. Okay. Yeah? The point being of this is, what you have got to be careful with, if you play the same tempo every time, someone like Jake, someone like Nick, you know, myself, we're going to get more and more comfortable with the ball. Yeah. So if within 3-4, if you haven't either pushed us wide, took in and then volleyed the next one, or slowed it down, it's probably very unlikely you're going to have a chance to stay in that point.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah?
Yeah. Sir.
Remember, you got body forehand sometimes. Unlucky, yeah?
So it's a goal here, like, I'm defending,
yeah.
So obviously you're in the advantage, but
yeah.
My goal is to essentially play the firms and stuff like that, to not necessarily, I'm not doing anything with those other than trying to seek out a ball where I can maybe do a chiquita or something soft,
yeah,
to then open up opportunity for space.
Exactly. And that could be on the first ball. That could be that they've missed the first serve, they hit a second serve, and you feel like, oh, I can play chiquita on that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean chiquita and run in, it means chiquita, then see what happens. That they've really brought forward. Worst thing that I've taken the lob away from you, right? So,
yeah.
And that's a massive shot. So you're doing all this without lobbing. But in so many of these, people, you just get rid of them, right? Yeah. You just lob. So the idea is how many of these opportunities can you create, right? Mm. Good, nice. Very good. Nice. I like it. But I like that play.
It's so pathetic though. I'm like,
there's nothing wrong with missing that.
But I'm like gagging for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
But how much rather would you miss a ball like that than miss a ball that you have here and you're like,
yeah. 100%, yeah.
Okay. Okay, again. Excellent. Really good. Okay, so now, exactly the same drill, but as long as you played 3 balls down, after that, whenever you want, you can also lob.
Okay.
Yeah? So you can lob, you can play angle, you can...
Does it have to be firm, the 3? Or
what's that?
Does it have to be firm, the 3 shots, or can I...
No, it just needs to be 3 shots down.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sorry, mate.
Okay. Careful there. And again. I like that. Good. So that's where you've got to change something.
Yeah.
You know, like the ball that you changed to my forehand, that's not a ball to change to my forehand. I'm waiting here.
Yeah.
You know, quick to here or short to the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, I don't mind that. Nah, that's the one I like. I like that a lot. Yeah. There you go. I'm not a fan of that.
No, I could appreciate that.
You know? I want you to try and keep it as simple as you can.
Yeah.
You know, and that could be even just that slight variation of you've been hammering it down here every time, and now you've just fired one there.
Yeah.
Like anyone in this position would start now anticipating there. Now you've gone one body forehand, then work again. Off that ball, you could have just gone short and then lob.
Yeah.
You know? But this is what I'm saying, like from the back, I want you to think about, to a certain degree, the least amount of options possible right now. if you're playing against someone slightly above your level, let's put it like that, because that's how it is. You can't have 8 different options in your mind and then be like, which one do I pick?
Yeah, fair.
Because realistically, for you to beat Jake or to be close against someone like, Nikhil, one is very unlikely, but you have to be playing pretty close to your max level, if not your max level.
Yeah.
The only way you can do that is by playing a ball with a lot of margin at a high percentage, right? So in terms of playing it through the middle is not a lot of risk, but going for it.
Yeah, fair.
Rather than going for a shot that isn't really on half-hearted. Yeah, fair. And hoping that it goes in.
Yeah.
They need to see that you're not missing and you're playing with good pace to a certain area.
Okay.
Yeah? Nice. Good. Okay, but that's where you should wait on that one.
Yeah.
Because you've got the lob, right?
I overcommitted. I was there, I think.
Yeah. So there, you did everything great. Bang, bang. Soft. I give you that. If you just would lob me from there.
Yeah.
So try and keep it simple.
Yeah.
If you could win simple, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Then if you need to do a bit more, add a bit more. Okay, I don't mind that. But let's play it a lot further over the net. Good. Yeah. Like for me there, you're hesitating.
Yeah.
You look like you were going to go short, then you're going to go through it. Make the decision, whatever you pick first, you do it. Wait. Okay. Again, it's not a bad play, but commit. So committing to a play like that would mean that if you miss the lob, you miss it because you hit the back wall.
Yeah.
If you've really committed to that play, that lob should at least be coming to here.
Yeah.
If you didn't quite hit it right, I want it to go out, not short.
Good.
Nice. Very good. Again. I like that. Excellent. Good. That one's not worth it.
It's too risky, isn't it?
Yeah, and I want you to think that if that went in, is it a winner? Like, imagine if I let it bounce, is it an instant winner? Not necessarily, right? Because it's like floating, so if I didn't step, I could potentially let it bounce and come in.
Should've got a lob.
I like the one you play where if you've come in volley and you play it there, fair enough. But like if I'm here, if you slow float a slicing ball, which you did, it's in the air for a long time, any of these guys are just going to run in. If I can get there, they can get there. Put it that way, So if it's going to be a bit more of a passing shot, good. Otherwise, just lob. Yeah, I need you to commit more to that. Here we go. Exactly. No, that's fine. But get used to that. Like these shots where you're like, lob, send them back. Because you're that close, it's very difficult to mess up a lob from there.
Yeah.
And it's quite tough for this person to get there.
Yeah.
Lob.
Okay. So.
What you've got to remember though, right, is this is the tough thing about these challenges that you're doing. There's also a certain element which is, technically you're not as good.
Yeah.
That's the harsh reality, right? So when you're coming in and doing these good plays, a lot of times the play is on, but you just can't quite do it to the ability right now that you need to.
Yeah.
So like you're coming in, you're trying to play a volley lob. I like that, but you haven't done that 500 times before, so that you come in and you're going to nail it.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've got to realize and accept.
Yeah. Fair.
So even though we're doing the right idea, it's just not quite as sharp as it needs to be.
Yeah. Fair.
And that is one of the biggest things about this, which is what makes it hard. Because you could do the right thing, but it's just not quite as sharp as it needs to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, but how many times have you done that against someone that's volleying this hard to you,
No.
under this pressure, under this intensity? How many times have you been in that scenario?
Yeah, not much.
Not many. So your body needs to get used to that also.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
You know?
So keeping it, my best shot is what you're saying. Just keep it simple. Reduce the options I've got.
Yeah.
And just drill
But
out.
commit more to those options.
Yeah, commit
you know,
more.
like it probably feels like I don't want to say you're hitting it 100%, but you're really going for these shots.
Yeah.
Right? It probably feels like you're really going for it. And to a certain degree, you're going to have to feel that because you're going to be playing at pretty much your max.
Yeah, fair.
You know? But when I say max, I'm talking like physical output rather than risk. You know, I'm not saying go for everything crazy. I'm saying go for the basic stuff, but give it everything you got. In terms of not everything hard, but full intensity, not trying to be lazy, work, make it simple, but make sure everything's heavy.
Yeah, fair.
That's your best chance.
Fair.
Yeah, let's do a couple more from the back. Good, okay, that's fine. Good, okay, good. Again, nice. So what should you have played? Nice shot. What should you have played instead of that Chiquita? A lob.
Yeah.
You had a half easy ball. We're in half quarters. Lob, get rid of me. You know? You don't want me at the net. You want to be at the net, right? Okay, come on, keep it simple. Nice. There you go. Okay, yeah, not bad.
I was gonna do that.
Yeah, and remember when you're gonna miss high, not in the net. Miss too far that way.
Yeah.
Not what? Do you get what I mean? You gotta give yourself a little bit more leeway. And especially in these kind of matches where, like I said, there's no pressure on you. There's a lot of pressure on us, on Jake. Like if we're playing a match, the pressure's on me to show that I'm better.
Yeah.
So make me have to do that sometimes. If you're in a long rally, you know, make me have to hit a winner off a ball up here.
Yeah.
Not as easy as it seems. You know, but don't give him it like, oh yeah, as long as I get like 3-4 volleys in, you'll miss.
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. Try and mix it up to the body more. Yeah, so that fast one, really good. But now and then try and come to my forehand just a little bit. Yeah? Good shot. Nice. Good. Yeah, good decision. Okay, good. But it's going to feel tough. Like it's going to feel like you're trying to, you know, grind, because that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
But for me, like, you know, you playing like that, it looks like you're focused, you're intense, you're not hesitating too much.
Yeah.
It's more the ones where when I do give you that simple ball, you've got to have it very clear, 1 or 2, you know, so that's either play to the feet and move in or it's lob. There is nothing else.
Yeah, fair. It's good
And
enough.
most of the time it should be lob.
Yeah, okay, fair.
So you're going to attack me, I can't lob.
Okay.
Yeah? I want you to play anything to your forehand volley. I want you to play to my backhand. So ideally middle panel or just my backhand. Yeah? Anything to your backhand, I want you to play cage or sidewall.
Okay.
Yeah? But those 2 balls, I want you to make sure that you're going from. Yeah? Okay, so that's got to go back there. So that can't go there. For the purpose of this drill, I want you to stick to what we said. Nice, good.
That's all right.
That's okay. Nice. Lovely.
See, I would never do that
Never do what?
in a match.
No, I know, but you've always also got to allow, and this is everything, right? Like whatever level you train at, take 15-20% off, that's your match level.
Sure.
Right? Instead of these volleys, take 15-20% off, that's probably what you're going to hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah? Ah, lovely, lovely. Okay, one more. Okay, I mean, how easy does that feel?
That feels really good.
Like really easy, right? Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that you have to play paddle like this, you don't. But it's what we said at the beginning, you just have an idea of where you're going with each shot. You're not thinking about it, it just comes. Look at the intensity you're playing into. I mean, I haven't got 3 back yet.
No, yeah, yeah.
You know, because what it means is you're taking away that hesitation, you're not thinking about it. So each of these forehand volleys you're committing to pretty much 95%.
Yeah, I am.
And again, like I said, I'm not going to expect you to play a match at the same intensity, but yes, at 15% less, which is still 60% better than the video against Nick.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
So true.
Good. Again. Good. Nice. Good.
Wow.
Okay, okay. But remember what we said. We want to play them intense, but it doesn't mean harder, faster. No, don't get too close, because that's going to give me an easy way out by playing fast to your body. Nice. Good. Okay, okay, again. Easy as that. Look how much you got me moving, right? Which is the other thing. Like, just the fact of me having to take 2-3 steps in between shots means that now the balls that I'm playing to you don't feel quite as hard as they do if you play exactly to me and I'm just smashing it at you.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, same thing, but I'm going to add the lob. So it's going to be harder, but I want to make sure that when you're at the net, you play with that same intensity. So that the person at the back, so me now, it should feel like there that I can't lob.
Okay.
Okay, come back, come back, come back. Yeah, and again.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, but we can see this is your weakness, right? It's this overhead game. Is when a lob is opened up, look at the intensity that has dropped on your volleys. The quality has instantly gone down. So you're hitting an overhead, and now you're not able to hit the same volleys you were before, right? So again, this is now more realistic in terms of how you're going to play in a match.
Yeah.
But now we've got to look at what? Giving you a bit more time on these overheads. So being aggressive, but if you're being aggressive, I need you to be in such a better position for the next volley. Every single ball, you're like, when you play quick.
Okay.
You know, so medium pace, but force me to the back of the court more. That could, remember we did the video on it, that could be to the middle, that could be there.
Yeah.
Force me to the back. It doesn't mean nudge. It means instead of 80%, it's 65, but deeper. Yeah? Don't play to me. I'm back, I'm going to stay back. But look at the intensity you're dropping on your volleys now. I need more intensity on your volleys. You see the difference?
Yeah.
But this is where we spoke. This is a technical thing. You know, you're able to play really good volleys standing still, knowing that it's coming. But now in the lob, you've got to run back, you've got to run forward. You're just not quite there yet.
Yeah, fair.
That's the reality, right? So we need multiple sessions like this for you to get there. That, you know, it's not going to come overnight.
Yeah, fair. Because
I think you've got the idea, right? That you know the idea, but you're just not able to execute it at the level you need to right now. And that's, the sooner you understand that, the easier this will become, because then you're not going to get as down about missing, and you know what I mean? You'll be all right with missing shots as long as you've done the right play. So let's make sure now, when you do these overheads, come in, stop, and rack it a little bit more in front. Yeah, I'm catching you a little bit off guard. Make sure you're ready, yeah? Okay, come on. Turn your upper body, turn your upper body. Better. There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, again. Rotate your upper body, rotate more. Better. Again. Okay. So what's happening is you're very square. Remember what we were doing in our overhead session is you're playing the ball from here. I need you in that position. You know?
So,
and remember, you can go to the sidewall. You don't have to go all the time to the middle.
yeah. To do, I guess when it's, so like first lob, I feel like I know it's coming. So I'm able to maybe prep it a little bit more. When it's like volley back, I feel like I'm here. I'm going back like this.
Yeah.
And then trying to turn, but.
Yeah. So look, this is where, again, you haven't got quite the technique on the overhead. So we need to work on that. But what's something that we could do to avoid me lobbing is easy. This is the more important thing. So how can we get the most out of your game with the level you're at?
Better volleys.
Yeah, so what would be a better volley?
Or one that doesn't bounce as high off the glass,
Okay.
give you an option.
Every time I'm lobbing, is it before the glass or after the glass?
I mean, I think after the glass.
After the glass, yeah. It's on the balls that you volley to me that come to about here.
Okay, so you're saying play more to your feet?
Yeah, play shorter.
Okay.
You know, so if you're going to play to the middle, remember we did that drill where the volley shouldn't reach the back wall.
Yeah, yeah.
On the second bounce. So the second bounce needs to be before the back wall. Or just come fast, but literally right at my feet. You know, if you're going to play pacey. Yeah, so again, you're at least making that, if I'm going to play a lob, it's got to be a risk. At the moment, because the quality of your volleys have decreased from what they were in the drill, now I'm able to lob quite easy. So shorter if you go to the middle, or let's work on the depth if you're going to come to my feet. So look at that, way too easy to lob, yeah? So come back, let's work on the depth, good. There you go, yeah? Again. Look at that, make me play before. See what we said? If you go back for a lob and they play down, you're finished. And it doesn't matter whether it passes you or whether it doesn't. If you've done this, you've got to go forward, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Points done, pretty much.
Yeah.
So don't try and anticipate my lob.
So.
Good, come on. There we go. There we go. Again. So that's too easy. Good, and that. But you see the difference instantly, right?
Yeah.
It's where you play the ball to a certain degree.
Yeah.
You know? Because that last ball's not bad, but I feel very comfortable lobbing off that. And the same with that volley, probably most of the time that'd be a good volley, but again, I feel very comfortable lobbing off that.
Yeah.
So this is where, you know, that shot placement is so important when you're playing against someone better than you, because they're able to play shots that you can't. They have more weapons, and they're able to do lobs off balls that you can't do lobs.
Yeah.
They've got more weapons, more tools.
Yeah.
So you've got to play smarter.
Yeah.
You're always going to be at a disadvantage, always.
Yeah.
But you just got to try and level that out as much as you can. Which is what you should be doing regardless of who you're playing anyway, right? Like, let's go. Okay, again. So are you ready? Come on, tip up, tip up. Good, again. So that's no good, yeah? Come on, restart. Good, that's not bad. That's too much. I'm back, I'm back. Okay, not bad, but you see how you can't take your foot off the gas in terms of you've got to make sure that every ball you play is correct.
Yeah.
It's got to go to the right spot. Even that last one, right? Like, yeah, it's a bit of a risky one for me, but just that volley being that bit shorter, that bit slower, gives me the option to hit through. So this is where it's tough for you, but you've got to play literally to your max. In terms of concentration more than anything, it's the mental game, you know? And this is something that even for myself, it's the difference in these tournaments, right? Like when you're playing against someone that's a little bit better than you, you're able to stay very close if you get the most out of your game. The difference being, if you're playing at 95% of your max, which you will have to, which is something that I experience a lot, they're playing at like 80%, you know? Realistically, they're having a normal day, you're having a really good day, or you're just good at getting a lot out of your game. You bring that down to 90, that's enough for them to get back in, which is what's happening now. You just got to stay sharp the whole time. And that's where it's a mental thing. Who can focus for longer? So let's do a little tie break. Yeah. So there's a little bit more of a competition element. Yeah. So you serve. So obviously now you can play the ball anywhere. But if I was you, I'd try and keep it to the same thing. You know, I'd have forehands there, backhands there, unless it's really obvious that the gap is open. Okay. Yeah? I like that. I like that. Come on. You're letting me just weigh you down there. Come on. You serve the whole time. I want you to work on keeping that net. So the key thing for you is your first like 2 balls of dominating that net so that you don't let me instantly get into this lob rhythm. Yeah? So make sure you don't miss your first serve, and then that next volley needs to be good pressure. Unlucky, good. To be fair, you got unlucky there because my return hit the net. And that's what gave me the control of the rally. But that first serve, like, you need to be making those consistently. Here we go. Well done, well done. Very good, mate, very good. Oh. Yeah. Good, but there you done exactly what we said we weren't. You were anticipating the lobs like 3 times in a row. You took a step back 3 times. And this is where, you know, obviously fitness is a big part, but you need to go in the mentality that if you gas out, you gas out, but you don't try and take shortcuts to last longer. That's how you need to train. Like, no shortcuts. You give it your all. You don't try and cheat by getting there early or starting too close or changing the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
You got a couple more in you?
I've got it.
Come on, mate. Nice. Again, you're waiting for that lob ever so slightly. And look, it instantly makes your volley so much worse. You give me so much more court to work with. Put it this way, at the moment, your weakness is your overhead game, right?
Yeah.
So even if I lob you and you're ready for it, you're not hurting me at all, right? Where's the only way that you can kind of hurt me at the moment?
Stand at the net.
Is your volleys. So if if I lob, you can't hurt me. And now on top, because you're anticipating it, your volleys are no good because you're waiting back. Now you've got nothing that is stopping me, nothing to put me under pressure. Because if I lob, even if you wait for the ball, I know you can't hurt me. Right?
Yeah.
And now you're waiting, so you're trying to go back. So that means now your volleys are no good because you're waiting on your back foot. So now there's nothing you can hurt me with. This is where that anticipating, it doesn't get you anywhere other than now and then you pass them, they're going to do a boast, you take 2 steps back to go for a smash or whatever you want to do. But in the long run, it's only going to make it easier for the defender.
That's good.
Nice, good, good. You've got to hold off for it. Come on. Let's go one more. I'll stay back. Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. That was a good rally. That was a good rally. Good job, man. Good stuff. Good work. Good work. But this is how you should be finishing, man. Like, you know, I'd rather you get to the point like this, or if we're doing a drill and you be like, Lou, man, give me 10, 15 seconds, yeah? Then start creeping back and then going for a winner way earlier because you want the point to be done, and you know.
No, you're right.
Because it's a double whammy. One is gonna keep you out of shape because you're not actually pushing yourself, and two is teaching you to play in incorrect ways.
Yeah.
Because then when you go to a match, you'll also do that whenever you're a bit tired.
Right.
You know. Good though. Good.
You're never harsh, but it's the right level of reality.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Because that's what I need. I need to, like, I know I'm like, you know, nowhere near Jake's level, but like, you're right. If I can just play my best game with what my abilities are for August, then I can work on the other stuff after that.
Exactly, exactly. But this is not like, so this is, you know, we're trying to improve, but when it comes to, you know, a competition, like, you know, you're competing, right? You need to get the most out of what you can do. Yeah. So yeah, like when you're training for it, practice all of these shots. I'm not asking you to not go for any shots that we're working on, but you need to be able to just keep things basic so that you can fully commit to them. You know,
have a game plan and just stick.
Yeah, because you need to work out what you're good at, right? Like, so you need to do 2-3 things that you're really good at, and make the rally get into that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, let's just use those volleys. Imagine if any time you volley there and there, you're really good. Well, you need to make sure that the rally
gets to that point.
But if you're half-hearted, if you let them hit a shot and then you're like chasing after the ball and reacting to their balls, you're never ever going to win, right? Yes. The only chance of beating someone better is beating them at your game.